Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Rodeo Time, the podcast. We are at the NFR right now. The seventh round is upon us, right? Today's the seventh round.
What day is it?
Seventh. Yeah, today's Wednesday. Yeah, we've got two legends in the house, Kaycee Fields, Tilden Hooper. I'm not sure which. I should have said Tilden Hooper, Kaycee Fields. Which name should I say first?
Definitely Kaycee. Some people have actually.
I think if you look at the resume, maybe you might be tempted to say Kaycee's name first.
Yeah, but
it just rolls off the tongue better, Tilden and Kaycee.
Right. Yeah, and the hair.
Yeah.
I mean, that's no contest. We have to address that in the podcast. I realize this is the intro, but sometimes we have a long intro. So can you address just I'm a fan.
I like it.
Yeah. Are you tired of people bringing up Dale Brisby's hair?
Yes, absolutely.
when they address yours?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's the world we live in. It's
Maybe
a fight I fight.
Maybe it's something we should lean in and like get like a shampoo.
I'm
Power Pro CBD.
Power Pro.
That's what I put in my hair.
We should do an ad together. Kind of like, what was it, Troy Polamalu?
Yeah.
He did. What I can't remember.
They've got the
Head and Shoulders.
the Clemson quarterback doing it now.
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Dang.
You could have this is how you could do it. You could have like regular shampoo and it's Dale using regular shampoo, and all of a sudden he uses Power Pro shampoo and he turns into Tilden Hooper. You know.
Yeah.
Well, now you don't even have to watch the commercial. Thanks, Donnie.
Dude, the actual ad is so important. We had our best performing ad this year. Did you see it with the steam?
No.
Oh.
You didn't see that my Black Friday ad
where you're in the trailer, like the
and then I stepped away and the steam kept going. It was like this crazy heavy steam coming out of my coffee cup, and I'm talking, and then I walk away and the steam still. Anyway, I'll send it to you after this.
I've seen it.
It did outstanding. Anyhow, so we got this is where we plug sponsors. Power Pro.
Hey, we'll develop a shampoo. We'll make that happen. Serious for both of you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe even a conditioner or a 2-in-1. I don't know.
It makes my American hat fit better if I've washed my hair with Power Pro CBD. And then when I look in the mirror and I see my cinched clothes, I'm like, you should have a drink of Crown Royal,
dude.
Maybe cruise over to Western Holler, get your truck tuned up. Who knows? When you get done, cruise on up and see my friends at the Choctaw Casino. Yeah. All the money you win up there, bring it back, stick it in your Liberty safe.
I would like to say that he had this all planned out, but that just came, and I can't believe it.
I hate sponsor plugs. All I want to do is go to the house and feed my Total Feeds and sit in my Can-Am while I'm wearing rock and roll denim in my American hats and just rodeo. That's all I want to do.
It's just rodeo time.
But for some reason, it just always ends up about money. Turns out,
I have no idea even how to follow this. Either way, I'm going to give it a shot, though. I'm going to get my Power Pro CBD and feel real smooth. Run around in my smooth area boots. Get in my Karl Malone Ram. Challenge him to a little game of one-on-one.
He is so
Kick
tall.
him in the nuts and run in my area.
Not a good idea.
in my area,
Yeah. Give him a resist all cowboy hat and tell him to try to be cowboy, not country.
Just tell him, hey, you can keep this until you can find yourself an American.
I used to
Sorry,
have a
Mary
hat.
Jane.
I was talking to somebody. They weren't wearing resist all, but it was like, I used to have a hat like that. Then my mom got a job.
Hey, the other night at the banquet, we were taking a group photo, and the photographer, I was just with Kaycee and Matt Twitchell and Jace Bottoms, handful of guys, and they're like, hey, the girl kind of got awkward. She's like, can one of y'all get out of here? And I was like, it's Kaycee, you need him out of the picture. And she's like, no, it's you. And I like totally offended. I was like, are you shitting me? Like, no one's ever
It's a resist
not
all
even
background.
once kicked me out of a photo, and I turned around, it's a huge resist all backdrop with Team Resist All there. Anyway, they weren't wanting my hat to overshadow theirs, so
That's the last
me
thing
out of
they
there.
need on that picture on social. Can I get the hat Tilden's wearing? Where can I get that? That's the last thing they need. No, I'm friends with those guys over there, so I stopped by and give them a hard time. So, anyways, you got any sponsors, Donnie?
No.
Willie Sticky Rodeo Rosin?
Yeah. Really sticky rodeo rosin.
Have you guys seen Willie on our team?
Uh-uh.
He's a little redneck mullet chicken farmer out of Maryland. And we started a Willie Sticky rodeo. He started it, but then I've somehow taken all the profits from the. Right now we just have stickers.
That's what Casey's
no
doing. No
rosin.
Power Pro thing.
I like your style.
Yeah. But he talked himself into me owning the company. So, but anyway, Willie Sticky Rodeo Rosin.
He's very generous with his company. Like,
Yeah.
just, here, take it.
I think Donnie has half. I have half. Jordan has half. He has half. So it's a big company.
half plus half.
Right.
Okay.
Something like that.
And
Somebody's got a third in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we have a great conversation, all things bareback riding rodeo. Thank you for joining us. And now on to the podcast. Your bareback riding career.
Right? I've not
You've
yet
gotten
begun to do
progressively better and better and better.
yet. Well, that's the way I feel too. I'm still planning on getting even better.
You gotta. There you go. Yeah, there you go. We want to hear you. We want. This
you
is a
wanna hear me?
much anticipated podcast.
Wow.
Really?
This is exciting.
Absolutely.
Well, that feels good.
Yeah.
Happy to be here. More
What?
happy.
I mean, since we were already talking about it, you were like, didn't like people tell you, like doctors, people with an education, not just like Uncle Revis, didn't like doctors tell you like to be done?
Yeah, a doctor there in Fort Worth, Texas, asked me if I could do anything else besides ride barebacks, and then suggested that I do that. And anyway, guys, but anyway, another doctor suggested.
Did it hurt your feelings because he wanted you to quit rodeoing, or did it hurt your feelings because you don't think there's anything else you can do?
No,
We
I
need this clarified.
I actually suggested to him that if I went to school long enough, I could probably do what he does. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Of that, I have no doubt.
it kind of hurt my feelings because I'd already been to a doctor that actually did my surgery, a great doctor, Dr. Stokes down in Austin, and he had looked at all my MRIs and told me, hey man, like, you know, it's kind of sketch, but I think I can get in there and fix some things, and if things go right, you know, maybe you can ride again. Who knows? And then this jackwagon up in Fort Worth, he didn't even look at my MRIs, didn't do anything. He just he wanted to take an X-ray after I was already handing him some MRIs, which I'm not a doctor, but that doesn't make a lot of sense. And anyway, and then he just came in and told me to get a new job. He was kind of like I said, not a very nice. Yeah, you said it. He's anyway.
This is-
I don't
man,
like
there's this. You
not
got this
dropping any
neck
names,
injury.
but Dr. Dossett's.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
I've had a couple surgeries by him.
yeah. So anyway, but we're still here, and he was wrong.
Yeah,
And I probably could do something else, but I didn't want to.
he's very blunt.
Yeah,
I could see how if he had like some negative news to deliver, it would come across that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, moving on.
Yeah, that was. And you better
Punch
be
to the belly.
paying attention when he walks in the room. Like he's gonna be out of there in 16 seconds. He's gonna be like at the end of it. He's gonna be like, any questions? And if you don't have it right then, he's gone. Yeah. Anyway, I'm a little slower than you are mentally, so like I'm just like, and then he's gone. But yeah, you're here. Whatever. You've had a great. Both y'all have had good NFRs, right?
I've had a better one than him.
Yeah, his has been going a little better, but
So
still a lot of rodeo left.
I've seen each round, but on the live feed, they're not really good at like updating us. Like we don't even get to see like who placed what.
Really?
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
just like
the same thing we watch in the locker room. It's like, well, we can't see scores in the bull riding.
there's no scores. There's no. Sometimes you don't even know what horse you're getting on. They're getting on. Like they will play that a lot, but like your ride last night, like during the ride, they're still showing like was it Jess climbing up and like they're focused in on Jeff and your ride comes across the screen. I'll be like, oh, follow him.
That's probably all right after last night. That's kind of. I think my horse saw a squirrel last night.
Yeah, kind of took a little button hook.
Yeah, man. So no, I feel great, and I mean, anytime I've had a chance this week, I feel like I've capitalized on it, and I'll continue to do that.
Yeah. What about you?
And feeling good. I'm having a blast. I've drawn a lot better than him, and just doing my job. And
26 round wins.
26
Or is it
round
27?
wins.
26?
26. Yeah, Bobby Moat had the the record at 25. I had 24 becoming it.
Suck it,
coming in
Bobby.
this-
Oh man, you said it. I want to say, suck it, Bobby.
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
Please tell me you texted
Bobby's
him
great.
that. Suck it. Chewing your yellow shaps.
Shaps.
Yeah. 26 is the new number, Bobby.
Robert.
Dude, I love the guy. I really do. He's a tough competitor.
100%.
He's a tough person.
100%.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Hats
Yeah.
off.
No, he's one of the, he kind of helped pave the way for, I don't know, it's like, what was he? I know it's like the Wolfpack, and then he was in
The Pride.
Pride. Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan,
Him.
Jason Havens,
Jason Havens.
Stephen Dent.
And then the Wolfpack was
I don't know
Will,
if they-
Wes,
Did they
I don't
ever
think they
claim?
claimed Steven, but I think he claimed them enough that he was in.
and then the
And he
Wolf,
drove enough for him.
yeah, the Wolfpack was Wes, Will,
Royce. And
Royce, and Tom. Yeah, yeah.
That's crazy.
It's good to see. I see Tom in the most random places.
You can never guess where you might see Tom next.
Yeah, like I was day working at a ranch, and just like we're all like staying in teepees out in the middle of nowhere, and like I get there on a Sunday evening, and we all hang out, and I mean we're miles from paved road, and the next morning 6:45, right before we saddle, Tom walks up out of the mist. I was like, "What the hell are you
Smoking
doing
or roll
here?"
your own cigarette.
And it was like right after Vernon, and he had just pulled an all-nighter, and he was apparently supposed to be there the night before, but showed up like right as we were saddling. Anyways, it was like the most random, like, but I loved it. That's Tom.
I like when Tom first moved to North Texas. I have friends that they work around and different stuff, and you'd see them, and they'd just come up, "Hey, do you know Tom McFarland? Like this guy?" Like, and they'd all have some story about something that happened, like you saw Bigfoot, like, but it
Yeah.
all started just like that. We were about to start work, and then Tom McFarland rolled up out of the mist, and
Yeah, exactly.
next thing you know, boom, pow.
Didn't he lie about being old enough to ride in Houston?
Not
Did
in
I make
Houston.
that up?
No, you didn't.
I thought it was
To get his car.
to get his card, and
But then he won Houston.
not Houston. He won Prescott.
Yeah.
And anyway, I think some high school rodeo parents that he was competing against their kids in high school rodeo ratted him out. And
Right.
anyway, so he
Because
had
they would be mad that he was going away from high school rodeo.
to- haters gonna hate.
Haters gonna hate. Haters gonna hate. Yes, they will. Man. So what do y'all have drawn tonight?
I have Let It Rock of JC Katif.
Katafe.
Katef.
Katafe.
Katef.
Katafi.
Katef. Katef.
Katif?
Katif.
Katafi. I think it's
JC.
Katafi.
Katafi.
I'm just
Yeah, I
going
think
to go with JC.
Yeah.
Yep.
Get
Nice
JC
horse,
Katafi.
Let It Rock. I'm looking forward to it. Should be
Nice.
good. Semi-eliminators.
Are you gonna let it rock?
I'm going to let it roll, buddy.
What do you got?
I've got a really cool horse of Benny Butler's. It's not something you say a lot, but I've got a really cool horse of Benny Butler's called Tic Tac.
No offense.
There's a lot of really rank horses of Benny Butler's, but very seldom do you say, "Man, I got a really cool horse of
Yeah.
Benny Butler." And that's no shade on Benny Butler. It's just their style of bucking isn't usually the kind you're looking forward to. But this one looks like he's gonna be
Did he
pretty fun.
bring Killer B?
He did in the bronc riding.
Never
Never
Is he
mind.
one of the
Casey was
ones?
about to run out of here?
Is he one of the ones that's only going once?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I heard there was a handful that they're just going to buck once.
Yeah, no, that's a great horse, but usually here it's his best trip is the first one, and so they save him back like that.
So that was Austin for you, huh? Was that the one and only time you got on him?
No, I've been on that horse a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
But you were a pile of points a lot, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Well,
No.
You only got on
Twos.
him one other time.
no, I got on him twice in Greeley.
No, just once in Greeley.
No, I promise. He spun and fell down in like 2000.
78. You were 78.
My secretary's not that cool sometimes.
I was there. I saw it.
I love it.
No.
You rode great. He wasn't great.
How many was I in Austin?
I don't know.
Weren't you a pile?
You
Yeah.
you were
I
alive.
won second.
In Austin, I didn't hear your score because my mom called and was crying and said that you were dead, and I was like, "Oh no, this is awkward."
Well, I
This is
remember
awkward.
I remember talking to the paramedic and telling him to get me off the board.
Now I
And
got to get this
set up.
sappy Instagram post ready.
Yeah.
Wasn't ready for this. I knew I was going to live longer than him, but I didn't have the post prepared.
What picture am I?
Anyways, continue. I want to hear about it.
Well, I kind of ruined it. Ruined the moment. No, I That was funny. No, I remember I talked to the paramedic to let me off with the board, the stretcher. I didn't think I was hurt. And I set up, and Caleb Bennett was right there, and he had, I don't know what, that black cat or something like that, and he beat me. I set up. I was like, hey, how many was I? Did I win? And Caleb's like, no, I won. And I said, on Black Cat? And I got a score on Killer Bee? And he's like, yeah. And he had this scared look. Had this big old golf ball thing on my head. And I was like, that was BS, man. You had to cheat.
Yeah.
And then it's
sometimes it's better to just lie to your buddies.
Yeah. Especially in a situation like that.
Yeah, just lie.
You won. You're still alive.
I mean, you're the real winner here, Kaycee. So I saw Pretty Woman the other night. Hello. How did that feel?
Man, that felt about like it looked. She kind of got away
E-pin?
from me, and she made me pay for it. But rank horses like that, you just can't stub a toe. And I mean, that sucker was doing all the right stuff for the eliminator pin. She's strong. She's moving across there, and I mean, just straight up bucking. Like that's a rank horse, and that's the one chance I felt like I had this week that I kind of let slip by, and I'd be willing to bet she couldn't do that to me again.
I got on her in Mesquite and saddle bronc riding.
Ow.
It was terrible. It was her first pro rodeo.
Yeah.
And I called somebody. She had come from some college practice.
She came from Jim Boy
pin.
Hash up in up in Fort Scott, Kansas. Up there.
Yeah, and they'd had her at a practice pin. Yeah, for Fort Scott, and he was. I can't remember who I talked to on the phone, but they were kind of hesitant and told me what they thought for rain, and it was like it's one of the buck offs. Like I kept the video in my phone just to be like, look at this buck off. Like she two jumped me and I felt like I was riding pretty good that summer, but she did launch me, and then I was like, oh, Pretty Woman. But I don't know. Maybe they kept turning her out in the bareback in the saddle bronc riding. I don't think she lasted as a bronc.
Yeah, no, I think they kind of swap her back and forth. Funny story, the day after I got on her here the other day, Phil Smith, bareback rider, won the average here, judge and stuff. He come down there, he was like, hey, man, I've seen that horse a lot of times, and I kind of thought that was a pretty nice horse to draw in the eliminator pin until tonight. Golly, that thing really did it. And I was like, I'm going to be honest, before I got on her, I kind of thought I plucked a pretty nice one out of the eliminator pin. About third jump, I realized that I had misjudged what I'd been seeing. And
if you'd asked me, I'd have gone, ugh, like that. But she also looks like she has at least 100 more pounds on her. Right
she's
now.
Big. That's not a small horse, and
right now
she's
healthy.
She's healthy, and she's ranked. There's no doubt about that.
Another horse I helped crack out in the bareback riding was Medicine Woman.
Ooh, nice.
Wow. Very
I rode
interesting.
Medicine Woman once in the bareback.
How was that?
I won the short round at Dodge City on
Okay.
her. Yeah.
Well, how did she feel though?
Just droppy, real droppy.
Okay.
But cool.
That's what I felt like.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all remember, but like Athens one year was going to have like 10,000 added. And then at the very last minute, they switched it, and it went to like 1,000. I don't know why, but Frontier, Stace, Sammy, it was just like they had these like ballers from everywhere for like 1,000 added, and it was just like some circuit guys there. And anyway, whatever. We all got on some rank or
that's always
future horse of the year,
many time horse of the year.
I would love to get on her under a saddle.
Yeah,
100%. I would love to try that.
Yeah.
But you guys can have the bareback riggins.
Yeah, so I don't want to get on anything in a saddle.
The other Cool Water retired me. Then I was like done. That was a tough year. Got on Medicine Woman and Cool Water.
Cool Water.
It was like I only got on bareback horses in pro rodeo for like 2 years.
Yeah.
You drew really good.
Yeah.
Really deep.
Pretty stout.
Yeah.
Right out the
Do you
gate.
want to maybe you could draw the rest
Enter
of them
you guys
for me this
for
week.
So I went to Longview and I drew Shady Lady.
Yeah.
You know, as just kind of a circuit horse that's like feels pretty good. You know, if you own a bareback rig, and you could probably ride Shady Lady. And I was like, man, I'm a bareback rider. You know, like I rode Shady Lady. And then so I was like, I'm gonna enter Longview again. And I called Jake Brown. I was like, what's this Cool Water? And he was just started laughing. and then Jacobs slapped him out for me. And I came back to the shoes. He's like, man, I thought you were gonna die. And very shortly after that, because I was terrified getting on him, terrified. And then I was like, I'm done riding bareback horses. I don't want to be that terrified.
I only got to get on that horse one time, and it was at Austin whenever I was about 19 years old. And my hand blew out right at the whistle to be a lot of points, but I just remember flying through the air so high, and like that horse just. But that's still to this day one of the rankest horses I remember getting on. And right after that, this guy that I high school rodeoed with called me and he was like, "Hey, what's this cool water?" I was like, "Man, that's a rank horse, like one of the rankest ones I've ever been on." And he's like, "Well, my wrist has kind of been hurting." I was like, "Let me stop you right there. If you've got any note in your heart, do not do this. Like, don't even think about it. Like, it just is not a good idea. I'm not trying to be like, just don't do it."
Yeah. I don't feel like a guy should be that. In my case, like bulls, broncs, even fighting bulls, like there was this level of challenge that I kind of welcomed, like I'd be excited to get on, but not in the bareback. But you just have to go. I wasn't good at going where you had to go mentally, I guess.
It takes, you have to have that switch.
Yeah.
You do.
I've always said that if there was one event that would be last on my list of who I was going to fight in rodeo, it was bareback riders.
Smartest thing I've ever heard you say.
Yeah.
Not really.
100%. Like
Don't repeat that.
I'll fight a bull rider. I'll fight a bronc rider.
None of us want to fight.
Calf roper. I don't want to fight either. But if I had to choose, you guys are last.
Kind of know that contact a little bit.
What do you got to do? Or do you feel like
to get into that mental state?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. It's just something that I just get on a bucking horse, you feel it, and that's when you turn it on. I don't know what I do.
I like chewing gum.
Yeah.
Yeah, just chewing some gum.
Do you feel like you guys are
in through my nose, out through my mouth?
I'm not just trying to ask cliche podcast.
Toughens you up.
I'm not trying to ask cliche podcast questions. Believe me, I'm just legitimate I don't even want to call myself a former bareback rider, but as a former bareback rigging owner.
Let me say this. I think if you got on cool water and you lived through it, you're probably a former bareback rider.
Okay, thank you.
Means a lot.
Means a lot.
Put that in your bio.
I don't tell anyone, but one year I did make it to the circuit finals. Like, I never say that because the only reason I made it is because nobody, like, there was like 8 guys went to 15 rodeos. I think I had like $100 one. But
it's totally okay. You made it.
Yeah. Should I wear it? I'm going to start wearing that.
Why not?
Okay. No, I'm not going to. I'm probably not going to talk about it
Just
again.
get one made. Let's get a buckle made.
A buckle?
Preston Johnson.
There you go.
EBRJ.
I'll call him. How many trips is this for y'all here?
This is 12 for me.
Yeah.
8 for me.
If you weren't traveling with each other, who would you be traveling with?
I'd be done.
Yeah, I'd probably just stop too.
Oh, dang.
I'd probably go by myself for a year maybe if I lasted that long.
What is it about being around each other that helps you both stay competitive then?
Against each other?
No, just in general. I mean, like, obviously, it's like
no,
that too, I guess.
No, I don't. We have a lot of fun together. Our goals in life, not just in the rodeo arena, line up. We kind of know what we want after rodeo, and it's, a lot of people, a lot of bareback riders, rough stock guys, rodeo guys, I guess you could say, they kind of fear the day that they're done, and I've done what I needed to do or accomplished all my goals, and he feels the same. We're happy with where we're at in life. We're happy where we're at in our careers, and we're in the same spot in life. He's got a little kid. I've got 3 of them, so he's kind of a rookie, but it's
I'm new. I don't know what to do.
Sorry, we're new.
It just makes sense. It's a pretty good dynamic. We've traveled together for a long time. It's fun.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
He likes to eat
we
good.
know.
I like to eat good.
We like to eat
Not
good
a lot
and
of
stay at
people.
nice hotels. We couldn't find anyone else that wanted to do that.
Yeah, it wasn't like that in the beginning, though.
No, it wasn't. I'd say from day one, what I think is important in life and what he thinks is important in life has always lined up, and it's never been, the rodeo is something we get to do, but it's a real small part of our lives, and he's always known that. I've always known that, and it's just pretty easy when morally you line up with someone like that, and just, I'm thankful. I was thinking about it last night. I'm thankful that this entire time that I've been traveling and rodeoing and stuff out there, I've had someone that I can completely trust with my life, and that is, like Kaycee wants me to do just as good as he does,
Right.
and that's not just something we say or whatever. That's just, it's really obvious this week. You know what I mean? Like I've had 2 different occasions where Kaycee's been the first one on scene to help me, you know, on a re-ride the other night, and to help. You know, that re-ride horse was kind of tricky to get out on, you know, and Kaycee, he gets up there and gets on his head and makes sure nobody else is there and make sure something doesn't happen like happened to Taylor Broussard last night on the exact same horse. And, I mean, I thought about it after I saw that. I was like, man, I feel real lucky to have someone like Kaycee that'll just come rolling up in there and make sure nothing happens to me. And, you know, and it's just you're out there, and the level of trust you have between each other and just the fire that you build between each other and the feeding off each other. It's the reason I'm sitting here. You know, it's made me a way better bareback rider, and it's taken my career to places that I don't think it would have went had I not, you know, it may have, I don't know, but it wouldn't have been near as fun, I can promise you.
Yeah.
We have some awesome memories outside of the arena.
Right.
Most of the things I can remember are awesome.
It's pretty easy to forget those stuff.
Yeah.
Try to anyways.
Yeah. Is there anything you guys like specifically plan? Like, do you plan like on a outside of the arena, like any sort of like side fishing trip or like hunting trip, or like are there ways that you guys try to keep it interesting as far as like making those sort of memories happen, or is it just stuff that just happens?
We try to plan a pack trip or
we've been trying to plan a pack trip for about 5 years now.
Yeah.
He's never made it.
I've never made it.
Right.
But we're going to do it one day.
Yeah, this spring we have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, like we like to go on trips together, take our families on trips together, and then when we're rodeoing, if we have a day off, we don't lay around in the hotel. We go on a hike up in the mountains, go play golf, go to the lake,
find something fun to do.
Yeah. What's the longest you guys have this year, for instance? What's the longest you went away from your families?
Man, I went 11 days.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'd say like 11 or 12 days, but that's one thing we've always had in common too, is it's important to both of us to go home, see our families, and recharge, and then come back, you know.
And that was probably over the 4th, huh?
Yeah, I would say I think it had to be around the 4th of July. I mean, but like one thing we're real lucky with is during the winter, Kaycee kind of brings his family down to Texas. His grandparents are down there, and so, you know, we go to those winter rodeos and kind of base ourselves out of Texas. And then in the summer, Kaycee lives right there in Utah, and so I kind of bring my family up. And if I can't fly home to see my family, they come up, and my family and his family, they all get along great, you know, and the kids get to play now. And it's a real fun dynamic, and it makes it easy to go home and recharge, because even if I don't get to go to my home, I get to go to his home, and it's home, you know.
It seems like a lot of guys think you got to be gone 6 months a year. Like gone. And I mean, I guess you can if you're single and you just want to like camp out somewhere.
Yeah, we've all done it. Like,
right.
I mean, there's a time and a place for everything, but I'm a big believer, and I think it's something that Kaycee's dad instilled in him, and something that I learned from them is it's so important to go home and recharge and see your family. And if it costs you $500-600 to fly home, then you're going to make that $500 or $600 back pretty easy when you go to ride, because you're going to really feel like doing it, you know.
100%. Yeah.
My dad stressed that from when I was a little kid, just starting. I didn't understand it, you know. He'd always tell me, you get home every Monday and Tuesday and see your family. You do whatever it takes. And I didn't really, And then you have kids. It's like, whew, I'm going home Monday.
Yeah.
I'm driving home all night, Sunday night.
Yeah.
And I hit that Utah border, and it's like that foot pedal just.
Right.
I hate it when I'm driving home, because it's like it takes pretty much from anywhere in the United States of America, it takes about 4 hours to get to Amarillo. And then from Amarillo to Fort Worth takes about 14 to 15 hours. But once you get to Amarillo, you don't feel like you can stop till you get back to Fort Worth. And it's just like, it's a whooping. But there's nothing quite like, you know, just being there to wake your kid up in the morning and just have them.
How old's your little boy?
Play with him. He's 11 months old.
Dang. Oh, yeah. So that was all year that you got to really kind of experience getting back home to him.
Yeah, and last year, you know, I tried to get back home and at least, you know, rub my wife's belly or something while I was in there.
Yeah.
I've been pretty much parenting for almost 2 years.
Yeah. Hashtag you're welcome.
Yelling at the belly. You're going to be good.
You're going to be great.
Yeah.
My kid was born on the same day as Elvis Presley. Fun fact.
Oh, well, there you go. He's destined for greatness. Yeah.
January 8th.
I called Tilden last year. I asked him if he got his Christmas lights up, and he goes, yeah, blue ones, just like Elvis Presley.
Isn't it JB's birthday the 9th?
I don't know.
I think JB's birthday is the 9th.
That's pretty stout.
Yeah. You're welcome. I think Jagger's birthday is somewhere around there in January.
Oh Lord, that would be
Hitters.
That'd be quite a party.
Hitters.
Jagger, JB, Elvis Presley, Tel McLean Hooper.
Yeah. His name's Teal.
Tell.
Yeah. Gotcha. Cool. I got a cousin named Tell Good. I don't know if you know. Anyway, Cowboy.
Tell I said hi.
I will. Yeah. Tell indeed. What about I get like 50, 60 messages a day. How do I get started? Cowboying. How do I Well, it's where it's where the idea for the show came from. They were like, what are we gonna make a show about? And I was like, man, I get every day people are asking me for some reason, how do I get started cowboying? How do I get started rodeoing? And so I was like, let's do a show where we teach them. And but bareback riding is another one. So just like for me personally, I just don't feel like, I know there's a lot of things going against the industry, going against the sport, and there's a lot of like things that we're combating. But I feel like because of the internet, we've got more eyeballs on us than we ever have ever. And I think that there's a lot of people that are interested in what we're doing and that are coming over. Some of them might try an event, but even if they never do it again, they'll become a fan of the sport, you know? And so there's a lot of that coming. I just get a lot of, I'm just curious what you guys think. If you're talking to, you know, somebody who's slightly interested in bareback riding, you know, what do they need to hear?
Go somewhere else. No, heck no. It's so much fun, but do it the right way. Start the right way. Get the right equipment. Get on a spur board. Get on a bucking machine before you ever get on a live horse, and make sure that live horse, you have control of the whole situation. You know your flank man. You know you're the guy that's opening the gate. You have good pickup men. Your arena's quality. You know that's really important for a young kid to have all of that. You know, comfort, I guess you could say, before he gets on something that's pretty terrifying, and you're strapped to him.
Yeah.
And if you start with the right horse and you go through the basics over and over and over, it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, didn't you have a horse you got on like a bunch, just one particular horse?
Yeah, we had Bay Rum. Yeah,
Bay Rum.
Every Tuesday and Thursday, my dad was the college coach for UVSC at the time, Utah Valley State College, and so they would haul that little horse over there, and I'd get on him Tuesday, and I'd run him, not even take my rigging off, and run him right back in the chutes.
Dang.
And do it again. And
that's funny.
Same thing on Thursday, and he would follow the pickup man around, and if I shimmied off a little bit, he would stop, let me get back on.
Priceless.
Priceless. Honestly, I owe that horse right there. I owe so much to.
Wow,
it was unbelievable.
How many times do you think you got on it?
Oh man, so.
I mean, I feel like 50 would be enough to really get you started, but maybe it was more than that.
My dad, I was really, really little, and my dad would never let me get on any other horses until I was mature. And so until I was 16 years old, I got on that horse from when I was 11 to 16.
Oh, wow.
So I probably got on him, I would say probably 200 or 300 times.
Wow.
Yeah, and it took probably 100, 150 to where I could spur him every jump for 10 seconds.
Dang.
And then my dad, he kind of had a couple other horses. He got one for Mike Sankey, big old horse that had frozen off ears or didn't have any ears. They froze off, and we called him Bear, and he just hopped in a circle, just big old nice one like that. And I rode that horse in Bay Rum till I was 17, 18, and then went to a high school rodeo. So I would have been 17 halfway through my junior year. I started high school rodeoing. Yeah. And I wanted to. I really wanted to go earlier. I thought I was capable of it, but my dad was pretty smart with me. And
dang, I bet you were so hungry by the time you got there.
Oh man, that's honestly, a lot of the success that I've had has come from the control of the situation I had from a very beginning. And when I get to the rodeo, I have a calmness over me that I don't think a whole lot of guys have, just because of the way I was brought up.
You would think it would be like someone might assume it would be the opposite.
Yeah.
You know, like
getting
your dad being the legend that he is, you know.
Yeah.
You're like 9 years old and you're getting on, you know, Virgil at 9. You know, you would think. But it's like it's the opposite.
Total opposite.
We talked about that the last couple of podcasts, but like I don't know how you guys feel about kids getting on mini horses, but
we don't like it.
I don't either.
Well, I don't. I mean, Kaycee touched on something just there, just not just the control of the situation, but his dad holding him back until he was ready to go made him hungry for that. And I like all the interest in bareback riding that these junior rodeos and stuff are bringing. But what are we doing if by the time they're 17 they've qualified to Las Vegas 10 times and already been out here? You know what I mean? Like what are you pushing for? What's left after that? You know what I mean? Like, and I just think, the first time you ride at Cheyenne, the first time you ride at these big rodeos and stuff, maybe you should be in the rodeo,
Right.
And I'm not trying to, I think there's positive things to everything, but in my opinion, that controlled situation that Kaycee's talking about really, really helped him. And I mean, proof's in the pudding, right? Like, because I didn't do it that way. That wasn't.
Yeah, me neither.
That wasn't how it was for me, and that it was no fault of my parents or anything else. Like it wasn't an option, you know what I'm saying? And it just wasn't something we had access to. So it was quite the opposite. It was if someone was bucking horses and my dad felt like it, which he tried to control the situation as best he could. But I mean, at the end of the day, you're getting on colts for someone that they're raising horses they're wanting to be NFR horses, So 1 out of every 5 might jump out there and really do it. And, there's a nervousness that comes along with that because you don't know whether you're going to stay on or whether you're not, you know what I mean? And that goes on in later into your career, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And I think you see it a lot in the bull riding just because it starts at such a young age. These kids get conditioned to getting throttled and they think it's normal, right? Where Kaycee had probably never been bucked off for weeks at a time, and so that became normal to him, whereas, for me, if I lived through it and didn't bounce off 4 or 5 fences in the process, that was a pretty good day. But one thing I'll say is I think in our industry in the bareback riding in general, I think people have noticed and have seen the difference, right, in between starting like Kaycee did and starting like I did, and Kaycee's not the only one that started that way. Clayton Bigelow, same thing, and Cole Reiner, and now you have guys like John Forbes that keep a nice set of horses around for those guys to get on. Down in Texas, Bo Mayo has put together a real nice set of horses that he takes around to these high school rodeos, and there's dang sure people that are wanting to help and do the right thing. And that's what I think so cool about bareback riding is, you could grow up in the industry with a legendary dad and just born into the rodeo industry, or you could grow up in Western Hills in Carthage, Texas on a county road and never have ridden a horse and make a career out of it that way too. It's truly something that if you're prepared to give it everything you got and work at it and go about it the right way, you can do whatever you want with it. Cause if you can try your hardest and you can make yourself flip that switch, the rest of it, you can be taught how to do, and it's just, I think it's a cool opportunity for a lot of kids to get a life that, maybe that they weren't going to get. And I'm not saying my life was going to be bad if I didn't rodeo, but I just really 100% believe that rodeo changed the course of who I am and for the better, right? Because you get around, you get to meet Louis Fields, you get to meet 10 Louis Fields. I don't think there is 10 Louis Fields, but I've met a lot of great rodeo cowboys that have shaped my life over the last 13, 14 years, and I'm a better man because of it. And I hope that if my kid wants to ride, that's fine. If not, I just hope he gets to grow up around this industry and see the kind of heroes that there are out here to meet people that truly ante up and give it everything they got every time and go after what they want. Because that's something, everyday Americans don't truly get to experience every time, you know what I mean? And once you realize you can do that, you can take that to any part of your life and do whatever you want,
Yeah.
Yeah, when you figure that out, you can be successful with whatever you want to do.
Right.
I feel like.
How do you guys plan to take that into the next phase, which I'm not saying is around the corner by any means, but like you said earlier, for any rodeo cowboy, that's something we think about because at least in the rough stock, 42, 43, 44, like if you're not done, you're about to be.
We have a plan. Yeah. We're going to start
What's
a
your plan?
podcast. We're going to start selling caps and T-shirts.
Yep.
We might get a Netflix series.
You never know. All you need is a wig and some sunglasses.
Huge social media. We're going to get a huge social media following.
Do it. If there's anybody that could do it. Like, you guys have so much more talent than I do.
I'm not joking. I'd love to. I want to say it on here, man. Like, what you're doing and the message you put out, we love it, man.
I appreciate it.
Serious. I love your show and the message that you portray.
I
it's
appreciate
good.
that.
And how you were talking about bringing, more attention to the sport of rodeo.
Yeah, sure.
I think you're the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. It means a lot coming from you guys.
And it's probably not easy to do all the time, right? Like, I mean, it's a part you
No.
play, and you do your thing all the time, and it never turns off. And it's probably fun, but it's a job. And
The only
and
time
it's helping our sport.
I really feel like it's a job is sometimes, I mean, everyone is so kind. Like when people come up to me, they're so kind, all of them. But then, every now and then they'll be like, for some reason, like the more alcohol someone gets in them, number one, this is a target, whether you know who I am or not. Number two,
I feel you.
drunk people for some reason think that I'm deaf, and they'll get right here. But I'm always, nice to, but last night it was just like, she was a little old, and it was all I could do to get her off of me. But
Hey, I get it. Like when we
So
go,
then
when
it
we
was
go
like
do
a
the
little
Crown
bit-
Royal signings, they're always
oh man,
late
I
at
can only
night
imagine.
and at a bar or somewhere like that.
And they love your hair.
Generally, they either love your hair, or they want to fight you. And
Yes.
sometimes you don't know, like by the way they're talking, like if they're just to hug you,
100%.
or they want to punch you because they're kind of just got a blank look on their face,
Yeah.
and they're saying things that aren't really that nice, but they're kind of saying them in
Yeah.
a nice tone, and you're smiling, and then
It makes you wonder why they walked up.
walked up. Like my favorite thing is, what are y'all doing? I'm like, oh, I don't know. We've got a Sharpie. We're giving out some bandanas. There's
Yeah.
pictures of us here. Are y'all famous? Well, if you had to ask, probably not in your circle, but maybe in some circles. I don't know.
Exactly.
I mean, we didn't just come over here on our own and set up and start trying to give you guys free stuff.
Right.
Like,
Somebody paid us to be
if
here.
you don't want our autograph, don't come over here and
don't
make me feel like I got to ask you if you want it.
Dude.
You know what I mean? Like,
They walk over and they're like, I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are either. Do you walk up to all strangers and announce that you don't know
this is a
them?
real thing that happened to Wes Silcox and I the other night. We're standing there. This guy walks up. He's like, well, I always wanted to meet somebody famous. I'm probably more famous than y'all. He's like, well, why are you standing here talking to us? Then his girlfriend walks up. She's like, he's my ATM, He's
Yeah.
a nice guy. They're both hammered, And he's like, I am a nice guy. But except that one time when I wasn't nice to her, but I went to jail for 5 days and I got it all worked out. And she's like, yeah, and then he bought me this ring, so it's okay. And then he just like looks back at us and he's like, I'm probably more famous than y'all, and walks off. And about that time, this 70-year-old lady pushing a trash can rolls by and just looks at me and Wes and goes, well, at least you are famous for something. And I'm just like, man, I'm sure glad we came over here for an hour to get made fun of. And it was also the night that Pretty Woman just kind of handed me my stuff out there for everybody. I was on an emotional roller coaster that night.
Thank y'all. Glad to be here. I'll be here all week. Yeah, last night a guy was like, who the are you? As he's holding up the camera. I said, well, sir, I'm the guy taking a picture with your wife. She's like under my arm. She's under, like, he was mad. He was like, hold it, who the are you? And I was like, I'm the guy taking a picture. That was,
Ask your wife.
yeah, ask her. Yeah, she'll educate you. Yeah. I said, thank you, ma'am. Stop texting me so late. No, it's, and most people, like, they might just be a little bit socially awkward, but then, like, alcohol just intensifies it.
Yeah. And like you said earlier, 99% of the people are great, and it's awesome,
dude.
and it's a really cool feeling to have anyone even be interested in what you're doing. But it's always so confusing, like when people walk up and just start harassing you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I don't know what to do right
No
here.
one made you come over here.
Yeah. But then, like, yeah, then somebody yell my name, like, right after that, and I'm like, what? And then it's like a little 9-year-old boy with his eyes. So, hey, I love you. And I'm just like, oh, what's your Venmo? I want to send you money. Like, you're just so grateful. No, I don't know. It's been fun out here, but yeah, I just try to be careful late at night. That's really it. During the day, 100%, everything's great, but they probably don't do a lot of Crown Royal signings at 11 in the morning.
Yeah, not many. We have done a few liquor store appearances around noon, and a liquor store in Houston at about noon. There's crazy things you can see.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I sat out in the parking lot for the hour and just watched the people go in and out, and it was pretty dang good entertainment.
Yeah. Yeah. People bring their families in to meet Tilden Hooper as a 9-year-old taking a picture
In a liquor store.
next to in the liquor store. Oh, Donnie,
I
you
never
got
knew people shopped in a liquor store. I thought you just run in, grab a bottle of Crown Royal, and try to get out before anyone saw you, and then then you see people walk in and get a shopping cart and they fill it up and then they come by. And one thing I learned over the years is they come by and you're like, hey, where's the party? And then they look at you like, there's no party.
it's Tuesday.
This is Tuesday. I'm just restocking. And I'm like, oh, all right. Sorry,
I am in a liquor
you're having
store.
a frat party. You're 75 years old. This is crazy.
Donnie is a young, aspiring bronc rider. How many you been on, Donnie?
I don't know. Probably around
75?
somewhere
85?
somewhere in there.
Getting about that point where you start to lose count.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Maybe 10 rodeos?
Yeah, I probably went to about 10 this
A
summer.
dozen, maybe?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Do you tell people when you go, like, this isn't my first rodeo, it's my 12th?
No,
You should.
Yeah. What is it? I feel like 2 rodeos is an extremely low number
That's funny.
to know what you're doing. And we've experienced that. It's just like I can't remember. We were talking about that quote, and it was like your second on it. He was like, "Hey man, you want to come with me?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll go with you."
Oh, yeah. I entered that one, and you were like, didn't know if you were going to be able to go. And I was like, well, should I turn out? And you were like, no, why would you do that? I was like, I'd never done this before.
He got on his first rodeo in a Netflix show.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. And that was part of the deal. They followed him through, getting on. So
Which rodeo was it?
Henrietta, Texas,
Nice.
champion rodeo.
Nice.
And
I've never been there.
it's a neat Ammy rodeo.
If
Super
you could have
neat.
named off just about any other one, I was going to be like,
If it's
I
a
was the champ
Texas
there.
rodeo,
Yeah.
won that one.
Yeah. Well, no.
Champ there.
Champ there.
Got the buckle.
Yeah, they
You just
wanted
said
him.
something about Honey Grove or Wright City or something like that.
They wanted him to go through this ladder process of like progressing before he went to his first rodeo, which is, true, kind of like what you were talking about. But they wanted to speed it up, and for the
So
show,
they could film it.
So they could film it. And I got him on. The horse is called Bay Feathers. It's one of Stace's that just was on the edge, And Boogie was like, "Yeah, I'll send you these 3 that we don't want to send to Mexico, but they had some off trips." Well, when they're at my house, they just sit in a field in a little trap. They get fed very well, total feeds, plug, and then we trot them across and buck them. So like Bay Feathers out of Painted Feathers,
Yeah.
if he's got a good trip in him, he had like some mediocre trips with us. Well, then leading up to Netflix, maybe he'd had a few weeks off, and he had a Painted Feather trip with Donnie during the show. No flank. I just put the flank on it. We don't pull it, just to give him something to crow hop at, because that had been his normal, just a good practice trip with no flank. Well, he just kind of like turned into Painted Feather for some reason.
Funny how that happens sometimes.
Jumped and kicked and bucked Donnie off. Like, it was the raddest buck off we've had on the beaches.
I've ever had for sure.
Yeah, flying through the air. Like, there's 9 Netflix cameras on him. He hits the ground.
From every angle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He
Slow
hits
motion.
the ground and like rolls under the panel. And I come over there and he is cussing. And there's just one scene where they're bleeping everything out. And I'm like, Donnie, you got to stop saying the F word.
We're not going to be able to use any of
I
this.
remember that. Yeah.
And they put that in there. Yeah, they're like, Donnie, you're going to have to stop saying the F word.
It's hard. You get that adrenaline going, bucking
Oh,
horses.
yeah.
It's really hard not to say that word. And I'm trying to work on it. I'm not doing that great, but I'm getting better.
Donnie, I say all that. I just got rabbit hole, but
Yeah.
we got 2 champs here. 8 time, 13 time. Did you say 13?
12.
12.
No.
Don't give him any extra, right, Tilden?
No.
Don't.
He doesn't need any extra accomplishments. All the ones he have is plenty.
What do you have any questions? for him?
Yeah, I guess both of you guys have had to come back from pretty big injuries. Like, what's the guy got to be like? What's your mentality got to be like coming back from that?
Sometimes injuries are pretty awesome. It sucks at the time. It hurts. But the time home with your family, the time getting ready again. And my dad, he said, this has happened for a reason. Maybe you're going to leave the rodeo and get a head on, die, But if you use that time wisely and take full opportunity of it and you come back stronger than before you got hurt and you really push yourself, you come back stronger every time.
Every time. And that's, that's something your dad, the very first injury I had was a broken collarbone on a dirt bike behind Kaycee's house. And anyway, we tried to hide it.
Watch this.
Get the
camera ready.
I'll just never forget, like, the day before Louis was there, and he was telling Kaycee how stupid these dirt bikes were and everything. And then I broke my collarbone. We're waiting. The next day, I'm going to have surgery. Dr. Pepper Murray's a rock star there.
If we had time, we should tell that whole story.
The whole story.
Please do.
Anyway, real quick. So I'll be as fast as I can. But
I ain't got no
everybody was like Kaycee, Chandler Bounds, Chris Roundy. These guys are all on these dirt bikes. They're ramping stuff like seriously. They could have jumped a pickup these ramps they were hitting, and like
big bikes.
Casey's real good on a dirt bike. Chandler is fearless, and no one told him he's not quite as good at Kaycee on a dirt bike, but he goes at everything, and it was awesome. You remember like how he'd land that thing and just kind of bounce, and then he'd hang on to it, ride it out, and Roundy same thing. And there's I think Nevada Newman,
there was
Parker
a
Bredding,
pile of guys.
There was just like a pile of 18-year-old bull riders there.
They're 18.
Yeah,
so
like they're young. Like
yeah,
they're just stopped and staying at Kaycee's house. I think Court Shear was there. Like we'd been kind of started out having us a day, and
pretty rowdy.
Everybody, they're jumping stuff, and all these guys are like, "Man, that's so cool! Like, can you do that?" And I'm like,
"No." Me and him, we're in the house hanging out, and we hear the bikes bop bop, and I go out there. I was like, none of them were wearing helmets.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh no. No, you got to put helmets on."
Yeah.
Here comes Chandler up the driveway, third gear. I bet you he's going 50, 60 on one wheel, and it just, he ain't controlling it at all. And he sets it down, and the front tire barks, and he does this. Like, see that?
Yeah.
That was Chandler's signature move. Like, anytime he did anything, he's like breaking his neck to look around and make sure someone saw it.
So they get helmets on, and everybody's like, "Man, Tilden, you ride a bike? You ride a bike?" And he's like, "Yeah, man."
I just kept on. I was like, no, I don't. Because I really had never, I might have ridden a dirt bike 2-3 times before that. And it was probably Kaycee's pit bike, like the little 110 or whatever, And
50.
Like after lunch, after everything kind of cooled off and everybody went inside for a second, I was like, I'm going to go get some practice laps in real quick. And maybe I'll show off a little bit. So I go up by myself, and I'm cruising around, me and Court Shear, and Court was just a little bit better than me. And I didn't think, in my mind, I just remember thinking, like, I live here all the time around these dirt bikes with Kaycee. He's good. I should be good. Court's from the middle of nowhere, Nebraska.
Yeah.
Like, he shouldn't be better than me at this. Like, this is bugging me, And so, like, I kind of started getting a little braver and braver. And then finally Kaycee comes up there, and like, there's a little track right behind your house. And he's like, "Hey, you need to put a helmet on. Like, you're getting to go and kind of fast, And I'm like, all right. And there's this kind of little tabletop deal, and Court got where he could just hit it and fly over it, and
30
not
or
like
40 footer.
Yeah,
not
but
very
dang,
but not like way high in there, like 10
feet.
Anyway, so I get going around there, and I'm gonna do it, And I think maybe I almost made it across one time, and I'm like, "Hey, get the camera out. Let's video this," And I think so. I did it again. And like almost made it, and Kaycee didn't get it on camera, and so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go again. And this time, like the third time, I just remember going straight at it and going fast, and then I got kind of close, and I was like, I'm going way too fast. So I just let off the gas, which I know nothing about dirt bikes, and so apparently that makes your back wheel stop spinning and just kicks you forward. So whenever I came off, it just, the front end of this thing just drops out from underneath me, and I come up about 2 foot short on the flat ground and just bounce on the front tire
over the whole thing.
It yanks me down, and I'm like rolling on the front tire, and I'm thinking, oh man, I'm maybe gonna make it, and then this thing just goes out from underneath me, lights out. Like, face hits the ground, and I'm just
like, wow.
I'll let Kaycee take it from here.
A stiff board, like arms to his side, like when someone gets knocked down.
Yeah.
Full scorpion.
But he's sliding on his head. Like,
it ripped my pants off of me, threw my pry his shoes off. Back when wearing Sperry's was a thing, like it just blew me out of my Sperry's.
I get there, the helmet's on sideways. I'm like yanking it on straight. And I'm like, hey, in your nose, out your mouth. In your nose, out your mouth.
I just remember coming to, and all I could hear, and this, I'd like to say this is the only time I've ever came to and heard Kaycee going, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Like Kaycee can talk
Like
you
he
out.
was giving you a massage.
He can talk you out of. He can talk you out of being knocked out. He's done it to me a couple times. You just kind of open your eyes and you're going.
Like he's putting scented stuff in front of you before a massage.
It's not just me. I've seen him do it to other people. He's special.
He wakes up. He's like, hey, man. All right. I'm like, I don't know. He's like, well, get my Sperry's. Blew me out of my damn Sperry's.
Gotta get those back.
I mean, road rash down his whole side. I'm nervous to call Miss Patty his mom. She's going to be pissed off at me. And so we're going to take care of this ourselves. We used to travel with this guy that his shoulder come out all the time. And so he's like,
So he's the expert.
It was Jesse Davis. And we never put it back in. He had a shoulder that came out. So we were like, and we had to go to Logandale the next day. I had a pretty good horse down there. And so, like, before we ever cleaned the dirt off of me, we're like, hey, I'll be able to put Jesse's shoulder brace on. We'll go down there and ride.
So is your free arm?
Yeah. And so
Gotcha.
Court Shear, he's there. He's like, well, hey, I've been doing physical therapy with this guy down in Payson. He could probably put it in for you. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm going to go get a shower, and then we're going to go to town. And so when I'm in the shower.
So you're not in a lot of pain.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it kind of hurt. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, have
It's
you ever
bloody.
broken your collarbone?
3 times.
Okay, so it's not the most excruciating pain, but
Right.
it's a really weird feeling, you know?
Right. 100%.
So anyway, I go get in the shower and go to cleaning up, and I'm like, in Kaycee's shower, there's a big ledge and a window right there, and I'm like, man, I've seen Lethal Weapon. Like, I could probably do this. And so like, I reach up there and grab a hold of this thing and just set back as hard as I can.
I've seen Lethal Weapon.
And when I do, I mean, excruciating pain.
Absolutely.
I hit the ground in the shower. I'm squealing. Get up, and I walk out of and everybody's like, "Are you all right?" I was like, yeah. I tried to put it back in myself. So then Kaycee and Court and I go down to this physical therapist. We just all go in his office. We're all sitting there, and he comes in. He's like, "So what happened?" We tell him, and we're like, I'm just like, I just need you to put this back in. I'm going to go ride tomorrow, and everything's going to be fine, you know? And he's just like nodding his head, just looking like, what in the hell, you know? And
Yeah.
And he's like, well, take your shirt off. Let me look at you. And I'm like, he kind of examines everything, and he goes, well, you did a great job putting your shoulder back in because it's not out, but your collarbone is broken. Like, it's pretty easy to see. He's like, you're going to need to go get some x-rays. So I'm like, man. So I go down there,
Yeah.
getting these x-rays, and the guy's like, comes back out. I'll never forget this doctor in the ER. He's like, hey, so I got your images. Do you need me to set you up with a orthopedic surgeon? I was like, no, I got a buddy that's an orthopedic surgeon. I'm going to call him real quick. And he's like, you have a buddy that's an orthopedic surgeon? I was like, yeah, Pepper Murray. And Pepper's like one of the very best surgeons on the whole West Coast in the United States of America. And I'm like, yeah. He just looks at me with this look. He's like, oh, you're just gonna call Pepper Murray on his cell phone right now? I was like, I'm gonna try. And so this guy's just looking at me like I'm, you know. And
He
so
hasn't even stopped looking.
looking at, he's just shaking his head. So I get my phone out, and I'm still sitting there. I call Pepper, and he had fixed a collarbone prior to that for me. And I call him. I'm like, hey, Pepper, I'm down here in Payson, and I broke my collarbone. He goes, not the one I fixed. And I was like, nope, definitely not. It's the other one. And I was like, do you want to talk to this ER doctor? He can kind of tell you what's up. And I hand this guy the phone, and he's like, hi, Dr. Murray. You know, and Pepper, he's a great guy. He's just like, all right, send the images over. We'll get you scheduled for surgery in the morning, you know, So we go back to Kaycee's house. I'm kind of in a little sling, you know. The next morning, prior to my surgery, Louis comes over for coffee, and I remember kind of walking down through the basement, and I could hear that he was outside, and I was like, ugh. So I take my sling off because I was just going to kind of try to play it off, maybe just let him find out later. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm not sure, but
You're avoiding it.
Yeah,
Avoiding
so
it.
I walk out there, and Louis, like, he just like had this cool way about him, like not very animated or anything, but would just like always knew what was going on. And like I walked down there and just kind of standing beside him. He's like, how you doing? I was like, oh, I'm pretty good. And I was kind of packing that wing, you know, and he's just like, he's like, oh yeah? He's like, you all right? I was like, yeah, I'm fine. You know, we're just hanging out, you know, and he reaches over and just kind of slaps me on the shoulder like that. And I shy away. He's
Absolutely.
like, what's wrong with you? I was like, I just dropped my head. I was like, I broke my collarbone yesterday. No, these dirt bikes. I got to go get surgery here in a little bit. And he just looks at Kaycee and shakes his head. He's like, you are stupid, and just
walked out.
walked away. And I wish I could say that was the only time he ever did that.
He had a way of making you feel about this big.
He could say like one
Little
thing,
words.
and it would bring you from 6 foot to 1 foot tall, just like
Oh
that,
my
you know. Anyway, then Pepper fixed it, and everything's fine. But
Yeah.
Still riding.
yeah,
I'm
still here.
I just had surgery November 10th. So I broke it for the third time in March and just never healed.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a non-union. It was just, I don't know.
I've got plates in both of mine, and that's the way to go, I would say. Because 5 to 6 weeks later, I was back riding, and everything was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I already feel better, but
You look better.
thank you. Yeah, especially in the collarbone
You look
area.
more stable.
Yeah.
Boy, got some nice collarbones.
That
on
boy
him
got
right
some
there. Look at
collarbone.
that.
Expensive ass collarbone is what that is.
Yeah. Hey, dude, those scars, though, man, they're cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I've only had 4 surgeries due to rodeo. Well, yeah, 4. The other 2 weren't technically rodeo.
Yeah. I remember when I called my dad and told him that I was like, hey, I'm in the ER. I broke my collarbone. Everything's fine. Nobody freak out, you know. And he's like, I thought you weren't riding today. And I was like, well, I was riding up behind Casey's house. He was like, riding what? I was like, it was a dirt bike. And I could just hear him kind of get quiet. And my dad, you know, he's not going to say a whole lot. And he's just like those little dirt bikes of Casey's. And I was like, no, like a big one, like a 400, like with a shiny pipe on it, real loud. Like I think it's. And he just goes, same thing, Louis. You guys are stupid. You need to call your mom. Just hangs up, you know. And I'm like, oh man, he's right. We are stupid.
One more collarbone after that, and then I sold the bikes. No one else been on the bikes.
Yeah.
But you know, the same thing. Back to what we were talking about earlier. Louis looked me straight in the eyes, and he's like, hey, this happened for a reason. Take full advantage of your time out, and you're going to come back better. And I've had 3 surgeries where I had to sit out, and then 1 after that where I sat out for a full year. And no questions asked, I always come back better. God puts those things in your life at a time when you need to go home and maybe reevaluate what's going on. And it's just important to take advantage of the time that gives you and make sure and come back better from it, whatever that looks like, you know.
Did
Answer your question?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kind of a long
I liked
answer.
it though. That was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
Any more questions?
What do they call you guys? The wolf pack, the
Pride.
The Pride. What are they? When you guys roll up, what do they call you?
I don't think we need a name.
We don't have a name.
Tilden and Kaycee.
Yeah.
I like
They
that.
call you for a lot of interviees.
Yeah.
We don't care just as long as they keep calling us. We don't care what they call us. Just as long as they
What is
call.
y'all's immediate plan? I don't. Did y'all answer that? What are y'all doing after?
Like after we leave here?
No, after I have a pretty good feeling of what you're doing after you leave here. But what are you doing
Pantry.
whenever you're done rodeoing?
I'm ready, man. I'm not ready to be done riding, but I've done some things, you know, to be ready when I'm done financially, to where I can continue to live the life that I'm living now. And and that's what main thing, you know. When I was young, I'm talking about my dad a lot, but one thing he told me, especially my mom, find something you love to do and make money at it. And I love this industry, and I want to stay in it when I'm done riding bucking horses. And developed, I have Power Pro CBD for a human line, and it's doing pretty good. And then me and my brother are starting a new company called Ranch Hand Relief, and it's all for animals and pets. And we have several dog treats, some shampoos for horses and dogs, and then we'll have horse treats, and then we'll have some tubs and some feeds.
Man,
And it's all CBD based. Pretty interesting. We will be the only company that will be university backed and government funded.
man,
So
entrepreneur.
And totally endorsed by Tilden Hoover, which really makes it even better.
Yeah,
100%. Number 1 salesman
was
in
it?
Texas.
and you're mowing lawns, right?
Nope. Maybe I might be back to mowing lawns. I don't know.
Real estate. Well, me and Till, we're going to do some big things in real estate.
Yeah,
here before too long.
I'm actually kind of been taking an online real estate class, and it's something I'm interested in. And
Cool.
Just like Kaycee said, I love rodeo, and I want to be involved in the rodeo industry.
Yeah.
And I've been fortunate enough that the money that I've won over the last 13 years, I've made some pretty good choices with it, and I'm just trying to take the money that I'm able to win right now and put it to work for me, so that whenever I am done riding, I have I have a lifestyle similar to this. I want to be able to spend time with my family. I want to be there to raise my kids, and I want to do it in a comfortable fashion. You know what I mean? And so, as whatever I can do to to make that happen, that's what I'll do, you know. And it's I don't have a definitive plan. I haven't started a CBD company or anything like that. But according to Bob Tallman, I'm actually a part owner of Power Pro CBD. I haven't seen it in any of the paperwork yet, but I'm still banking on that. And I'm their top salesman down in Texas. So if you're in Texas, you need some Power Pro, some ranch hand relief, I'm your guy.
What's it called when you live with somebody for 7 years?
Common law.
Yeah,
I'm a common law
You're
owner.
a common law Power Pro owner. You get Bob to say it for 7 years.
I actually have a really sweet endorsement deal with them, too. I have a Power Pro sticker on my rigging, and with that comes a lot of perks, mainly just one. Kaycee gets my rigging for me every time after we ride.
Okay.
Pretty much 93
from the
strip and shoot, and brings it back to my bag. So
It's
monetarily, it doesn't do a lot
Yeah.
for me, but it saves me a little bit of energy, which I think I'm able to put into the next ride and therefore win more money.
I'm helping him be better.
Yeah,
God, that's hilarious.
everyone should have a friend like Kaycee.
Everybody. It packs his rigging around for him. We usually wrap up. How long have we been talking?
An hour.
Yeah. We usually wrap up with life advice.
Life advice?
Yep. It blows everyone away. You guys don't have like some go-to phrase?
I do. Well, I mean, I'm about to.
Yeah.
It came to me. I'm ready. Keep God first, family second, work hard, and do what's right.
Bingo. See, that's good.
Just because there's more wrong doesn't mean it's right. Always do what's right. Everybody says that, but just
I've not heard that before. I like it.
thank you.
Yeah.
That's
No,
why
just try better
I wanted to
yourself
go
every
first.
day. It's I compare my life to riding a bucking horse.
Yeah.
I really do. As soon as the gate opens, as soon as I get out of bed, the first thing I do, I'm winning. I'm putting my foot down with authority, and I'm going to start my day rocking and rolling, and give it my all day long. And if I get bucked off throughout that day, if I mess up on a phone call and humiliate myself, say the wrong things, for a lot of money or whatever, gosh dang it, something else will come along. I have faith in that. I have, the Lord on my side, and tomorrow's going to be a better day, and I'm going to get up and kick butt.
Nice. What you got, Donnie?
Take a chance, Columbus did.
Yeah.
I feel bad saying that after all these guys got all this inspirational stuff.
I would say no is the second best answer you can have, since we're talking about bareback riding. There's a rodeo documentary called Moon of the Desperados, and Gary LaFew quotes Shakespeare in there. He says, "Our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we often might win by fearing to attempt." And so it makes you think like, all right, I need to try these things. And I tried bareback riding, and the answer is no. I just didn't want to do it. But now I know.
Yeah.
But you tried it, and you're a better person because of it. You did something that normal people can't make themselves do. So that confidence that you take, it's probably like, honestly, bareback riding probably made you.
Of that, I have no doubt.
Big part of it.
A big part of it, 100%. But even in sales, my uncle told me that. He's like, no is the second best answer you can get. Because then you know.
Yep.
When you hear somebody say no, then you know, and you can move on. And it's like same thing with like when you try something in life. Like I tried bareback riding, the answer was no. It made me way more at peace with just bulls and broncs.
It's hard to learn a lot when you're winning. Like it's the setbacks that you actually learn from. You know what I mean? And that's important to keep into perspective. Like you just can't win all the time. And if when you lose, you let it just take you down instead of learning something from it. Everybody loves to win, right? Like, I mean, that's pretty easy, but learning from your mistakes and learning from losing, that's how you really get better, I think, in my opinion.
Yes. No, that's wisdom right there. Like that's not just something from a book, That's wisdom. Yeah, especially talking about the collarbones and everything. Yeah. So
once you get some plates in your collarbone, you can do anything.
I feel like
we got wimpy collarbones, man.
that's what I was trying to
I don't know if you can go in and just have them put a plate in there without breaking it, but that'd probably be the best thing.
For a rodeo cowboy, if you're an aspiring rodeo cowboy.
Yeah, like if you got a 14, 15-year-old kid at home, take them in, have them put some plates in
Get
their
Tandy.
collarbone.
Yeah. It's $20,000 per collarbone, but it's worth it.
It's an investment in your future.
Yeah. No, I asked Tandy that. I was like, so would my collarbone be more strong? He was like, it's a bone. It's only going to be so strong. You can't make it more strong. But in that spot, it would be more strong than it is now. Anyway.
He wasn't getting it.
No. Yeah. Well, I wanted him to pretty much say, yes, you have a bionic arm now. And
Well, you do. I'm sorry
thank
that he's
you.
kind of an asshole.
Thank
He didn't
you.
Say that.
Yeah, he's a little hard on us. Well, thanks for listening to the podcast. Check out Power Pro. Oh, yeah.
You want one of these?
That's what you want. Yeah, I've seen the area deals. Trevor's. What's up? They made Trevor huge.
Yeah, he ain't a very big guy.
I haven't seen that one.
I think he's pretty happy with
I think
it.
they overdid it on Casey's arm a little bit. He does actually have a steel arm, but it's just a bunch of plates in his forearm from where
Yeah.
he broke it because of this great shoot procedure.
Like 2 days before the first
One
perf,
time in
I
the
saw it
shoot,
in a group message. One time in shoot procedure, what?
The 4 times I broke my arm was in the shoot one time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Another day.
Another day, another podcast.
No dirt bikes, though.
Check out Power Pro. Check out Tilden. Check out Kaycee, all on social. Their names, at their names. And we're on to the next one. Pow, pow. Oh, yeah, the outro music.